The morning sun rose gently over the kingdom of Valerion, painting the marble towers gold. Yet inside the royal palace, silence carried a strange weight. Princess Elara stood by the balcony, her fingers wrapped tightly around a silver locket that had belonged to her mother. Below, servants prepared for the grand Harmony Festival, but Elara felt no excitement. For weeks, whispers had moved through the palace corridors like cold wind. Rumors about the royal bakery, a mysterious cake, and a secret the king refused to speak about. Across the courtyard, Princess Lysandra arrived in a carriage surrounded by guards. She was the daughter of the neighboring kingdom's queen, sent to strengthen peace between the two lands. Unlike Elara's calm grace, Lysandra carried confidence like armor. Her sharp eyes studied everything: the guards' nervous movements, the hurried servants, and especially the towering bakery chimney releasing pale blue smoke instead of white. When the two princesses met for the first time, their smiles were polite but cautious. Elara sensed kindness behind Lysandra's boldness, while Lysandra noticed sadness hidden behind Elara's composure. During the welcoming feast, the royal chef announced the highlight of the festival, a legendary dessert called the Eternal Cake, baked only once every 50 years. The entire hall applauded, yet Elara's face paled. She excused herself before dessert was served. Lysandra followed her into the moonlit garden. There, beneath blooming jasmine trees, Elara finally spoke. She revealed that her mother had vanished on the night the Eternal Cake was last prepared. No body was found, no explanation given. Since then, the king had forbidden anyone from speaking about that night. Now, the cake was being baked again, and Elara feared history was repeating itself. Lysandra, curious and fearless, insisted they investigate together. That night, wrapped in cloaks, they slipped through hidden corridors toward the royal kitchens. The palace slept, but the bakery glowed with unnatural light. Through a cracked door, they saw Chef Roland carefully stirring a shimmering batter that sparkled like crushed stars. Symbols were carved into the oven doors, symbols older than the kingdom itself. As they watched, Roland whispered words that sounded more like a spell than a recipe. The batter rose without heat, forming shapes that looked almost alive. Suddenly, footsteps echoed behind them. The old royal librarian, Master Corvin, appeared from the shadows. Instead of anger, his eyes showed relief. He confessed he had waited years for someone brave enough to uncover the truth. According to Corvin, the Eternal Cake was not merely food, it was magic created centuries ago to protect the kingdom. Each time it was baked, a royal heart had to offer a memory of deep love or sacrifice to keep the land prosperous. The magic demanded emotion as its ingredient. 50 years ago, Queen Seraphine had willingly given herself to save Valerion from famine, binding her spirit within the cake's enchantment.
Elara felt her world shatter. Her mother had not abandoned her, she had sacrificed herself. But Corvin's voice trembled as he explained the darker truth. The magic was weakening. This time, the ritual required not one sacrifice, but 2 royal souls bound by trust. Without it, the kingdom would fall into endless winter. Before they could react, Chef Roland turned toward them. He had known they were there all along. Tears filled his eyes as he admitted he hated continuing the ritual, but had sworn loyalty to the crown. The king, unable to lose another loved one, planned to secretly offer himself during the festival feast. Elara refused to accept it. She would not lose her father the way she had lost her mother. Lysandra stepped forward, surprising everyone by offering herself instead. She explained that her kingdom had suffered drought for years, and perhaps this magic could save both lands. Elara grabbed her hand, refusing to let a friend become another sacrifice. As dawn approached, tension filled the bakery. The oven began glowing brighter, reacting to their emotions. Corvin realized something ancient text had hinted at. but never confirmed. The ritual did not demand death, only genuine unity and selfless love. The tragedy of the past came from misunderstanding. Determined, Elara and Lysandra joined hands and stepped before the oven. Instead of surrendering their lives, they shared their deepest memories aloud. Elara speaking of longing for her mother's embrace, Lysandra revealing her fear of never being valued beyond politics and alliances. Their honesty filled the room with warmth stronger than fire. The batter lifted into the air, swirling like a galaxy. A soft voice echoed through the bakery. Queen Seraphine's spirit appeared, radiant and peaceful. She explained that the magic had evolved. Kingdoms no longer needed sacrifice, but connection. Her spirit had waited decades for hearts brave enough to choose compassion over fear. Light burst from the oven, spreading across Valerian. Outside, frozen fountains melted, flowers bloomed instantly, and the sky turned brilliant blue. The eternal cake settled gently onto a silver stand, no longer glowing dangerously, but warmly, like home. When the king arrived, prepared to give his life, he found his daughter alive and the spirit of his queen smiling beside her. Overcome with emotion, he fell to his knees. Seraphine's spirit faded slowly, whispering that love preserved freely was stronger than love taken through sacrifice. The festival began hours later, unaware of how close the kingdom had come to tragedy. Citizens tasted the eternal cake and felt overwhelming joy and peace. Laughter echoed through streets once filled with quiet fear. Elara and Lysandra stood together on the palace balcony, watching lanterns rise into the night sky. Their friendship had transformed political alliance into genuine sisterhood. Lysandra decided to remain in Valerian for a season, helping rebuild connections between the kingdoms through kindness rather than treaties. Yet one final mystery lingered. As Elara cut the last slice of cake, she found the silver locket she had lost years ago baked gently into the center, untouched by heat. Inside was a tiny portrait of her as a child with her mother, along with a new inscription that had never been there before. Love remembered becomes magic renewed. Elara smiled through tears, finally free from the shadow of unanswered questions. The cake's secret had never been about loss. It had always been about courage, trust, and hearts willing to stand together against fear. And as music filled the palace halls and stars shimmered above Valerian, the two princesses realized that the greatest magic was not hidden in ancient recipes or enchanted ovens, but in the choice to protect one another, even when destiny demanded sacrifice.